Welcome to In It to Win It. This is Steve Barton, and thank you for tuning in. We are coming to you from the Rules Symposium 2024 with the Master of Ceremonies himself, Rick Roll. Rick, thanks for coming back on the show.
Thank you for coming to Boca. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Yeah, no, it's a pleasure being here. This is my first live one, and really enjoying it. I'm going to have to watch this entire thing again on the live stream because I've been so busy with interviews. I've missed all the presentations. This has been amazing. I've interviewed all the companies that I own here. What is your take so far? What are you? What's some of the big things that you've gotten out of this?
Well, one of the things that's pleasant for me is simply the fact that a group of us has spent 45 years building a community at places like Everbank and Sprott, Rural Investment Media, and watching the community come together, watching attendees who have come to 20 of our symposiums, who have made friends with other attendees, going off to dinner, having first met each other at our symposium 15 years ago, is very pleasant.
Yeah.
Watching people who have formed constituencies around public companies, being part of the formation of that type of community where people are having fun together and making money together is just wonderful. We work all year to make this week work, and to watch it work makes the whole year worthwhile.
Yeah. What you've got a lot of companies representing commodities here. We got gold, we've got silver, we have copper, uranium, nickel.
Right.
Of those, which ones are you most excited about right now?
I don't focus that way particularly. At present, there is nothing that's really hated. When you and I first started talking to each other in 2022, it was pretty obvious that uranium was broadly hated.
Yeah.
So that was a no-brainer. At the beginning of this year, I remember you and I visited, and there was vitriolic hate around the silver juniors. There was social media comments when you and I would talk about these morons are still talking about silver. So that was great.
Yeah.
There's nothing I like more than hate.
Yeah.
There's nothing that's hated enough right now, except for perhaps Canadian natural gas, which we don't have represented here, to qualify for that bucket. I think a better theme here is that in terms of the junior exploration sector, we have really superb management teams. And we're in a market right now where the audience, the broader audience, isn't discriminating between good people and bad people, which means that you get to buy good people at a bad people discount, which is very good. If I had to pick a sub-theme here at the conference that attracts me, it would be the huge deposits that have a black mark against them because they're in an obscure commodity or they're in a bad country. So, the meteorics of the world, the sovereigns of the world, that type of thing, producing rare earth oxides or producing graphite or something like that, producing it at a place like Malawi or a place like Brazil. What I've learned in my life is that one investment theme other than people that's enduring is that giant deposits can make you big amounts of money.
Yeah.
So the sub-theme, I guess, that would attract me at the conference this year are giant deposits that people don't care about.
Okay. I just sat through Rudy Frank's presentation of Seabridge. That's a pretty big deposit.
That's a big deposit. It's grade challenged.
Okay.
I own Seabridge. I've known Rudy for a lot of years. The Snowfield deposit that he bought from Pretium Resources was a deposit that I originally helped Bob Quartermain buy for Silver Standard years ago. So I know the deposit not fairly well, really well. I've known Rudy for many years. But I wouldn't describe gold as an out of favor commodity, nor would I describe British Columbia as an out of favor jurisdiction.
Yeah, okay. How about Centaurus Metals? That's nickel. Out of all of them, that's probably the one that's least liked the most?
Yes, I like Centaurus a lot. I like Bravo, which is also in Brazil, a lot. I like Meteoric, which is also in Brazil, a lot.
Yeah.
Are there risks in Brazil with Lula as president? Of course. Are there risks in the United States with Biden as president? I reckon.
Yeah.
So really, it's a function of how much you pay for political risk.
Yeah.
And I think Brazil is overpenalized relative to other countries in the world. Doesn't mean I won't be proven wrong.
Yeah, yeah, okay, okay. How about Mundoro? I just interviewed Teo this morning. She is just highly intelligent. I asked her about her background, and she comes from Eastern Europe, speaks the language, so that was encouraging. How do you feel about Mundoro?
Well, how about this? Is what, a 20 million market cap, doesn't produce, and is going to generate free cash flow this year after all expenses from exploration fees.
Yeah.
She is going to generate free cash by managing exploration projects for the likes of Rio Tinto and BHP. She's a superstar.
Yeah.
She is a complete superstar.
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of companies that produce that don't generate free cash.
Yeah.
She's exploring with no visible means of support, and she's generating free cash after exploration expenditures and after G&A.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, yeah. Patty Nickel with Orogen Royalties, that, man, that is really exciting. I feel like there's still a lot of upside, even though we've had a double since your boot camp. I think we still got some upside there.
I agree. Last year, that was one that we identified as one of the no-brainer exhibitors.
Yeah.
Truly a no-brainer exhibitor.
Yeah.
And there still is upside. As you say, a lot of the attractiveness has begun to be priced in because the stock has performed so well over the last year. What they have is this royalty on the silica deposit, silica cap deposit in Nevada, and nobody knows how big that deposit's going to be.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 10 million ounces and counting, but the phrase is and counting.
Yeah.
Of course, it's not all that. There is a producing royalty called Ermitaño, and then they also generate exploration fees and farm out fees. So again, you have a small cap company, a micro cap company, in fact, that isn't merely cash flow positive, but is in fact after-tax profitable, with basically uncapped upside on this new discovery.
Yeah, yeah. Gold Royalty Corporation, they recently got the Varus deposit, and so they've introduced some copper now. I mean, there was a tiny bit of copper there before, but they introduced some copper into their portfolio. We've had a nice little drop in the share price, which has made me excited.
I was going to say, a year ago had Gold Royalty at a 6 because it was selling for too much. Mm-hmm. We've changed it to a 5. We're hoping to change it to a 4. One of the interesting things that you have at Gold Royalty is it's part of Amir Adnani's group, and you have a deeply, deeply, deeply talented management team there, talented in beneficiation. Amir's strategy for 20 years was to acquire out-of-favor assets, wait until the market improved, and then think about how to beneficiate them. The market's improved, now he's going about beneficiating them, which is exactly what he intended to do. He acquired a large portfolio, as you know, of assets in Gold Mining Inc. very cheaply, and he acquired the royalties for free by spinning them out. The market received that extremely well. The stock went to a huge premium to what it was worth, and he monetized that premium buying other royalties with companies that were less efficient at capital acquisition than he was. Now the market has taken care of the valuation disparity, and he can go about building a company, which is fantastic.
Yeah, yeah. I also interviewed Scott Melby, representing Uranium Royalty Corporation and Uranium Energy Corporation. Right. How do you feel about them?
I've done business with Scott so long, I did business with his dad, Chuck Melby. So I've known Scott his entire professional life. This is a guy active in the uranium business who has now spent 40 years in the uranium industry. And when I say spent 40 years with Kazatomprom, Cameco, doing, in effect, precisely what he's doing now, transactions in uranium. What has he done for 40 years? Transactions in uranium. You know how we talk about doing business with people who are serially successful at the task at hand? Scott Melby has been serially successful for the biggest names in the industry at precisely the task at hand.
Yeah, yeah. Very excited. This has been a lot of fun. I can't thank you enough. It's difficult for me to express my gratitude for all that you've done for me and for our family and for the viewers of this channel. Rick?
Well, conversely, you've been a tireless supporter of rural investment media, which is great. You've talked about our boot camps. You've talked about the symposium. The other thing is that I think an increasingly important part of this symposium will be social media, will be the outreach. The idea that my message can reach 400 or 500 people here on site and then reach 1,000 or 1,500 people online and then reach 1 million combined subscribers of the social media community means, in effect, you're my megaphone, for which I thank you.
Okay. Well, you're very welcome. Happy to do it, and I look forward to many years to come.
Great. Well, thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Rick. You have a good rest of the day. And thank you for tuning in. Be sure to support the show and share this with anyone that you think needs to hear it. It's probably your buddy. They can't stop talking about tech stocks. You have yourself a great rest of the day, and we will talk to you next time.